3 hours ago, I received the news that I had been awarded the BBVA award, and I cannot answer conclusively what that means to me. It's a big surprise and, of course, a great satisfaction. Motivation and, as always in such a case, also a responsibility, so that henceforth I will not only worry about my own career and my own music, but strive to defend all that is the concept of art, which today is not always respected as it really deserves and should be for our society. At the moment, I cannot say any more. First, I have to swallow and digest all this. Naturally, it is also a material enjoyment for me, and now I have to meditate, consider, and seek ways to make a really responsible use of this award. I know of this music award and the background in which it is granted from about 2 or 3 years ago, and without thinking about my own luck today, I have always deeply respected and admired it, as it is a result of understanding that music is not simply another medium in the context of entertainment, thought out to a greater or lesser degree to be merely consumed. But music as art has to do with thinking, with a logos. And I don't know if we attribute to music, as was the case centuries ago, the rank of a science. Perhaps it's more than that. In any case, the music, and I am talking about our European-oriented music, that has to be opened up, uses the medium reflexively. And in this sense, it's not only reflective, but it also expands horizons. And this is something very important. We need to open up our limited ideas about what we can do, and we can say that music is an adventurous type of science. In this sense, I compare it to a species of a bird of paradise among other disciplines, much stricter in their definitions. But in music, we reflect very deeply and carefully on means used, on perceptions, on reception, and the consequences of such reception in a society that needs innovation, also in an aesthetic and mental sense. Well, to now do a quick summary of the journey traveled is not easy. My teacher was Luigi Nono, a famous composer of whom I have always conserved a long-lasting remembrance, and who today is still one of the most active composers of our time, although he died more than 20 years ago. From Nono, I learned that it is important to redefine in each work the concept of music that seems so familiar to everyone, and to always ask ourselves again, what are the categories in which we live out this music? That is to say, we have to leave the old house of our musical experience, largely determined by the so-called tonality, to delve into what I call the adventure of art. In this area, I have done a lot of studying. I have worked hard for myself, and from there I made up my music. which consequently has developed its own language. But I don't feel proud about it. That would be a simple and childlike whim. I have been lucky. I have made discoveries and also found an environment that supported me against all types of resistance. And there was quite a lot of resistance, from public opinion, sometimes from the public itself, and of course from among the critics. So I had to overcome a lot of resistance around me, and also within myself, and I still come across such resistance, even within me. You have to keep in mind that I didn't grow from the beginning with the music I wrote. I tried, so to speak, to conquer a country that was foreign to me, but for me it was very important to find out what it was like. So I was lucky, which is a far better feeling than to be proud of anything. We are all creatures and we have no reason to be proud. In any case, we should be grateful, thoughtful and sensitive. Well, if the term music culture, as I understand the question, refers to the fact that there are concert programs for subscribers, then it seems to me, of course, positive, but we still have to ask the question, what is music? We can't simply speak of classical music of the 20th century, newer music. There is music, as I said before, of a Luigi Nono. There's music from Arnold Schoenberg, of which today I still don't know if it has really been given a place inside our cultural idiosyncrasy. On the one hand, I would say what we call culture is what we do as composers of the newer music, which is nothing else but a tradition-based innovation. But we don't simply build upon a tradition characterized by a finished beauty that has to be provided every time again, but in a tradition from which the conflict between innovation, the need to walk new paths, and the necessity to express oneself beyond the customs of normalized perception has emerged again and again, and that is the moment of innovation. For example, I think I can say that Beethoven was a composer whose music in its form and musical concept had not previously existed, and that Schoenberg was, in his own way, a composer who stipulated a musical thought that had not existed in that form, and this caused irritation in all these cases. In this context, I would say that the so-called avant-garde is the authentic culture. The other is the use of our cultural treasures within a framework of an, and now I don't want to be controversial, ingenious entertainment. And I love, like all of us, the Trout Quintet and the Eroica, and all those amazing compositions, which today have been given in part the role of gourmet consumer products. Therefore, we embrace the music of Schubert, and even the great works of Gustav Mahler became for some people large symphony tours, with all the dramatic elements that are required to feel emotions. To me, all this is news of a creative energy that has always gone beyond the standard forms of perception, thought and feeling. And the music of Wurban, Schoenberg, Stockhausen, even Cage, perhaps in some ways, also becomes fashionable or chic. One is also sometimes ready to digest something unusual, and afterwards you can always go back to listen to Brahms' Second Symphony or to Dvorak. I think all of this is still not well established, and it is rather perceived as an exotic delicacy and as an exotic experience. In fact, this is, as I would say, the true culture that gives our era its musical level. With regards to other music, and I say it with all respect, and I am glad that concerts exist for subscribers, it is unclear how to handle it, if we make a responsible use of it, and if we just experience little more than a pleasant night out at a concert. You could try to verify that with particular individuals, but I fight for a consciousness in which innovation is recognized as the true bearer of our culture. I think this question was already answered in a way in my previous replies. What are my goals? What are my challenges? They are to spread art as an adventure. As an adventure, but not in a commercial sense, but in a sense that we should all experience it. There is a collection of my writings, in German of course, with the title Music as an Existential Experience. We have to be touched by music in such a way that after the experience we should have become other people. More cannot be said about this, as this has, for each composer working in his study, other consequences.